Hi everybody. It's been a pretty intense couple of days for some of us, well certainly for me. So I think it's time for, well, a kind of an unboxing, something light-hearted. So it arrived here. I've already unpacked or unboxed really. And this is the Kabbalistic Tarot by Eugene Finitsky and Frater North. And so it arrived very well packed, so I'm pretty pleased about it. Look at that. This is how you pack a deck. It's padded at the bottom, it's padded all the way around, and then it's padded some more using this, and then this was sitting in the middle like so, and then it's padded again on top of it like so. So it's brilliantly, carefully, thoughtfully packed, and I am very happy about that. This is my second deck from Eugene. My first one is the Tarot Lubbock. Actually, this is my third deck from Eugene. His second deck is his recreation of the French Magic Tarot, which I'm still due to do a walkthrough for you. And it was originally majors only. So Eugene recreated a whole 78 cards with minors, like his take on, his imagining of how a 78 cards full tarot deck would look like, taking that particular Magic Tarot's majors only further. And so this is his third deck that I've purchased from him, and I absolutely love. Well, this is not purchasing from him really. This was a Kickstarter back, but he is so swift and so well organized and so experienced, because by the time Kickstarter campaign was launched, the decks were ready. I think it was near complete. So it says designed by Eugene Finitsky, Geneva, Switzerland, Kabbalistic Tarot, and it has with it a card that came with it. This one here. So that's, ooh, look at that. So Tarot Mania sounds like a psychological condition. It probably is, some would argue. Tarot Mania, Eugene Finitsky. I love this kind of, it makes it feel really old-fashioned. And then it says Certificate of Authenticity. It is an original tarot deck, 79 cards, author's edition. I'm not quite sure what author's edition mean, or how this is going to be different from perhaps other editions. So that's really nice there. You can see this pattern that reminds me of Japanese. You often see this in Japanese kimonos. This pattern there. So it's gold and black, very elegant. I love how elegant this box is. It doesn't have all this tacky publication advertisement on the back. It says here, this Kabbalistic tarot deck utilizes the concept developed in the Hermetic order of the Golden Dawn. I have currently moved away from studying more Golden Dawn based, more esoteric tarot myself, but I really wanted this for my library, because I think this will be a really good reference deck or study deck. It says here, Five of Pentacles, Gebura in Aisha, Mercury in Taurus, keyword certainty. Mercury in Taurus focuses on material values. They adore accumulating material assets, including money, but often have troubles with it. They are oriented to particular practical activities and neglect theory, which does not let them pull cunning tricks and profiteer easily. Meaning, loss of money or standing, troubles with the material worlds, hard work efforts, agronomy, construction, good at everyday issues, poverty, rudeness, severity. So that's interesting. I quite like that sort of, I always like this kind of macro take on things, you know, explain to me the cosmos or whatever based on whatever esoteric symbolism and understanding of existence, and then let me decide for myself what it means to me. I usually don't like being told what something means to me, so I really like that part there. So that's the Five of Pentacles. So I'm only reading that because it flipped open on that part. So the cardstock feels to me exactly like the Magic Tarot by the French magician whose name I've completely forgotten at this minute. I'll put a link either below or after the end of this video to that video. I don't think I've made that video yet. Yeah, I probably haven't, but once I have, I'll link it here. And it's exactly the same cardstock, but I think that other cardstock's much nicer. That other cardstock's really thick and really matte. This doesn't feel as thick, but it's lovely. It feels smooth. It's not as glidey, as you can see there. So it doesn't glide. It's not as liquid, but I like it enough. And so it has the gold barrier there. Someone did ask him to remove the borders, because I think it was George, because the border seems a bit anachronistic to the sort of antique feel of the main body of the card. But he did say, if you notice, there is colors here: white, gray, white, black, white, yellow, black, gray, gray, yellow, gray, navy. So those are the color codes, which I suspect is linked to the path of the Sephiroth here. So black, yellow. I don't know anything about the Sephiroth or the Tree of Life. Black, red. So I suppose Bina 3 is probably black. So, and then I'm thinking that white here is Kether, or Kether, and black is Bina. So you see white to gray, Kether to Chokma, Kether to Tifareth is white to yellow. Yeah, so you can see the actual, the usual. Sorry, hold on a second. I'm actually crouching, and I'm still recovering from a pinched nerve on my lower right back, on my right hip. So crouching on the floor is a little hard. So that's the picture of the traditional tarot. That's the Kabbalistic letter. That's the astrology, and that's the position in the Tree of Life. So this is a brilliant, brilliant study aid for me when or if I do ever return to studying esoteric tarot, the Golden Dawn version or the Golden Dawn brand of esoteric tarot. This is so the picture seems quite old continental style there. It feels like looking at an old continental deck. So that's, yeah. Strength. Definitely old continental, the strength of the column instead of with the lion. The hermit is that old man, time, the sort of the showing of time in the embodiment, in the form of an old person whose body's deteriorating. The Wheel of Fortune, Justice. I think that image is what is it called? Oh my goodness, I know that image. I think it's supposed to be one of the oldest tarot deck there is. But they didn't survive as a deck, they survived as a sheet. Tarot Sheet Revival has done a deck, and it is named after the town that it is currently stored in, Budapest, and there's another one. I keep confusing the two. Robert Place have issued the same images, and he called it something else, not Budapest, but oh my god, yeah. Anyway, you know which one. I'll put the link or the name down below. So those are the images for sure, and so that's the color. And of course, initially I said, you know, those colors, and so the black is Bina, Keter is, the crown is white, and Chokma wisdom is gray. So Chassid Jupiter is blue, and that's what we saw just now on the edges here. There. So that one there is 4 colors, so that's Malkuth. Malkut. And then the pips, of course, are just the wands, and then the number just basically to indicate what suit. Astrology, Kabbalah, Tree of Life. The colors of the Sephiroth, from one Sephiroth connecting to the other. One Sephiroth connecting to the other. So it looks like all the wands are red to black, and then gray to black, and then black to black, and then yellow to black for earth. This is the fire of earth, so pentacles or pages are earth, wands are fire, which is how I learned to associate the elements with. So I'm just going to skip a few here. So water, fire. Okay, so here the king is fire, the queen is water. Okay, so this is basically, for me not to get myself thrown off, I continue to associate kings with water, with air, sorry. So this is like Crowley's Thoth. This is basically like the Thoth. So the fire is in the position of the king, but I am going to do a Crowley and put the knights here, and then water of water. And then the knight here is air. So what I'm going to do is put prince here, because the prince is the same person as the king. He's just not a king yet. Because otherwise, the knight as air will take a bit of getting used to. So I need to wrap my head around that. And until then, I'm going to do a Crowley. And then earth is the princess. Now see, that's interesting. In the cups, he used princess instead of a page. So let's have a look at, so the ace is a crown. Let's skip this because I want to have a look at the king. Okay, now I'm confused because the king here, oh no, yeah, the king is fire. So the knight, I'm going to put the knight over there, the queen, and I'm going to say the prince instead of the knight so that I can remember this is air, and then it's page again. So so the aces are elaborate, just like they are in these older decks. Let's have a look at the courts. So we have king, queen, knight, and we're back at princess. So the princess is of 4 cups, and for coins we have the princess, and for the other 2 we have pages. So cups and coins we have the princess, and for swords and for staves we have pages. And this reminds me of a tradition of an older deck or Marseille deck where in the minors you go from 1 to 10, so that 1 trumps is higher in its value compared to the 10s, and then in other suits the 10s are worth higher than the 1s or the aces. And so I'll try and put that a discussion around that down below. So let's take a look at it. But all of the minors here starts with the aces. Yeah, so that's interesting. Because in some older continental decks, the suits go from 10 to 1, and then for other suits it's 1 to 10, with the one starting first valued the most. So what I'm saying is that for 2 suits, the aces are worth the most, and for 2 other suits, the 10s are worth the most in particular decks. And so this reminds me very much of that in its alteration between princesses and pages for the cups and coins, with princesses for cups and coins, and pages for staves and swords. I found that quite fascinating. But no, the aces all starts with 1, at least on the stack, assuming that they are stacked or sequenced in the deck. Based on a certain kind of system, because some decks arrive randomly and the succession of how the cards arrived in your hand in a deck doesn't mean anything. So yeah, so I think I need to examine this further in relation to the aces, in relation to the Tree of Life. So anyone else have any thoughts around that? I'm not very familiar with the Golden Dawn system and esoteric tarot, because I've sort of left that behind for now, temporarily. So the aces here are from red to black. This one here is blue to black, and I'm assuming the other aces are to black as well. Let me have a look. Yeah, so anything related to the black, let's have a look. I think I'm just thinking out loud here, guys. So black here, and the other ace. And yeah, so where's that color? Bina. All linking to Bina. How the aces are things that link to Bina. Maybe. Gabura, red. And all the aces are red to black, red to black. Okay. It's not really the aces, but it's the minors. So that's red to black. That is the wands. Red to black. And then blue to black is the cups. Blue. How is blue to black? Don't know. I don't know. How is that possible? Okay, there's a lot still to be learned. See? Blue to black. And then King of Cups, Queen of Cups. And then Ace of the Swords are yellow to black. So that's the swords. And then green to black is the pentacles. So green. How does green go to black from here? Well, something to study for sure. And their noises are beginning around the neighborhood, so I'm going to end this here. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.